Hi, it's Aja again, and we're here at Next in the GDE Lounge. We're going to be talking today with Richard Seroter about AI dev tools. And, I kind of want to know, do you actually use our AI dev tools?
It's a good question. I do. I do. I don't code it every day, but I try to be a builder because I don't like talking about our stuff if I don't know how to use it.
Fair enough. So, what thoughts do you have? Like, are you a CLI person? Are you more an anti-gravity person? You an AI Studio or Stitch? Like, is there a tool that you find yourself gravitating toward?
I mean, I lose any dev credibility by saying I like a UI. I mean, I'll do the terminal stuff. Like, I'll use the CLI. It's fine. Actually, I usually keep it open all day just to ask one-off questions. I find that it's good for that, not when I'm trying to do a long-running thing. Sometimes I like going into a IDE type tool instead. Like, let's kick off a thing. Let's work on a whole exercise, plug in some MCPs, whatever, like have a goal. CLI is kind of doing one-off, just answer a quick question for me.
Okay, tell me more about that, because that's not a use case I had thought of. Do you have an example of a question you might ask in the CLI?
Yeah, I mean, part of the nice piece now that I plug in our developer knowledge API or things like that, so if I have a quick product question, I know it's actually coming back accurately too. It's not doing a web search. It's actually pulling the latest. So if I go, hey, how do I deploy to a worker pool? And I know it knows about Cloud Run worker pools now, and it's going to pull the latest info. And that's just a one-off question. It's a question answer, almost a fancier chatbot at times, but a really well-connected one.
Yeah, so it doesn't have the problem. It doesn't have the problem of the knowledge cutoff date then, because it's always got the latest stuff. So everything we announced here at Next is already there.
I think that is such an underrated value thing, because my reason I sometimes got so annoyed with agentic coding tools was that, hey, I'm asking about a new feature in Go or Java, and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's right there. And I send it with a link, maybe it doesn't pick it up. But now to be able to just know, and especially because that developer knowledge API isn't just Cloud Docs. It's pulling now Go Docs. It's pulling this from Firebase. Why does a developer need to know there's 9 doc sets? You shouldn't.
No, you
Just ask for stuff and get back trusted info. So I love that scenario where I can have a trusted little smart thing hanging out there answering questions.
So are there any other surprising use cases you found for these tools? I've heard some really strange ones internally, but I'm curious if you have any interesting use cases that people may not expect.
For the dev tools?
For the dev tools.
I mean, my favorite thing I like doing for both demonstrations and Richard building is connecting my agentic IDE anti-gravity to Stitch.
Okay.
I love it so much because I'm terrible at front end. I like a good front end. They're beautiful things. I would spend all week centering a div. I'm just not good at it. So I'll often in a demonstration actually ask the IDE, hey, understand something, use the browser, understand the style, whatever, go send the Stitch for a design, pull it back in and literally build the app. I'm doing something in that use case that would have literally taken Richard days, if not a week before. I'm literally only constrained by my thoughts now. That's wild, because I would have given up on these projects, and I did often.
Yeah.
Because it was this looks terrible, or I can't show this to a customer or do whatever. I'm embarrassing myself. I'm not anymore. So now I finish more projects I think I ever have in 15 years.
Huh. That's awesome. So what you're using is you're finding ways to use the different tools basically as agents in and of themselves, and they collaborate together to work on a goal, where Stitch is working on the front end and Antigravity is working on the back end?
Yeah, and even in this case, the browser's doing the research. So if I'm saying, hey, go do research and understand the colors and fonts of my brand so that you can feed that into Stitch right, so that it looks correct, those are all different tasks for us, right? I'd open up my browser, I would do 10 blue links, I would do whatever. I'm just now indicating all of that with maybe even a single prompt, if not a short conversation. That's amazing.
And you can stay in context. You don't open a browser and open another window and open
100%.
another one. It's all right there.
It's all right there. And so now I'm not sitting here thinking about, wait, what did you finish? And yes, agents might be finishing at different times, but as you say, I'm just sitting in one command center sort of view of this sort of thing. That feels like the future. And for many, it's the present. But I think for most of us, we're still getting used to how do we delegate? What's the right way to even instruct all these things? But as you look at that, again, we just get this outcome focus.
Yeah, and I'm really liking that I'm hearing that a lot this week. Focus on the outcome. Focus on what you want,
right?
Not necessarily how to get there.
Now, for many of us, that might be unnatural because we're also used to building it incrementally.
Yeah.
And then, you start with some sort of spec or goal, but it's almost emergent. The emergent window has shrunk to nothing.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, I just went from I wonder if I could, I'm looking at it really quickly.
Yeah.
That's going to probably cause some other downstream impact that I can't think of yet, but maybe it's just learning loops are that much faster. And I can look at that immediately and go, that's terrible. I shouldn't have built that, but I lost 20 minutes, not 4 days.
There's many things that I have vibe coded where I'm like, I wonder if that would work. And I try it and it did not. And so we abandon that branch and we go back and we do something else. And it's great that I can get through that in 5 minutes, not 2 weeks.
And the one I've been doing lately, especially as our team, or at least I have been taking on some more product areas and things. I did my first Flutter project or my first Angular or things like that, because it was like, I was always intimidated by those frameworks because I'm not a front end guy. I got, it's a lot of scaffolding. I don't want to set all this up. But instead, when I can go into one of these tools, whether that's CLIs or IDEs, and say, hey, I'd like to build this type of app, not even just the basic Hello World tutorial, but use the MCP to pull those in to maybe guide you. But hey, I'm trying to build a functional app that does this, that uses this framework. I've tried 3 or 4 frameworks that I've always been intimidated by over the last month. And then in 15, 20 minutes, I have something, and then I can ask the agent, hey, how's this work? Oh, what does this do? So I'm learning through a personalized result.
Yeah.
My gosh, it's so much better than just click here, type these words. And like, all I learned was how to follow a tutorial.
Yep.
In this case, I have an outcome, and now I'm dissecting the outcome to figure out how does this piece together. Am I learning it as deeply as if I went to a class and did a boot camp? No. But am I seeing what I wanted to see from it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the exact same thing with Go right now. I'm building Go agents.
Is that right?
Not a gopher. Really like the Go community, and so I'm like, okay, well, let's use ADK Go as not released. I started learning Go, and I'm building stuff with it, and I'm like, hey, how does that work? It's exactly the same.
So do you feel less language constrained? Like, I don't write Python, and yet I've written a decent amount of Python the last few months because there were certain things that only had a package there, or that was something that works well with Agent Engine or things. And so I'm not intimidated by that. Before it'd be like, I guess I'm just not trying that service. Now it doesn't matter. I'll build a Python agent. It works fine.
Yeah, exactly how I feel. There's been a lot of projects where I've wanted the power of Go, but learning a new language was super intimidating and I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
And now I can just get the power of Go. It's great. So the last question I've been asking everyone is, how do you get started? There are so many models, so many tools. Google's got several tools, but there's plenty of tools from other companies as well. Every model has like different versions in the family, and then you've got you've got gemmas, models from other providers. Folks want to build cool stuff. They have amazing ideas, but they try to navigate the space and they're like, I don't even know what is an AI studio, what is an anti-gravity. So if you were talking to someone who had a really cool idea they wanted to build, where would you tell them to get started?
Yeah, I guess the second question would be, what are you thinking about? It's a web application?
Let's go with web.
AI Studio is great.
Okay.
Google AI Studio to just say, I'm going from intent to now even adding a box and saying, give me Firebase auth if I wanted, or a database. Amazing. Like, I just go from idea to implementation like that. Beautiful stuff. I think when I'm thinking of building a system or an application, I'd be looking more to my IDE. Plenty of people will jump to terminal, and that's fine. For me, I still at least like the read-only code editor view for me, basically, at this point, to run through there. I guess my advice would be, don't over-optimize at the beginning. Don't be like, okay, when I'm starting to build, I need to first try every model and every tool. Then you just have a really cool setup and you've produced nothing. And I don't know if you have, and I think we see this on social sometimes. People advertising their unbelievable setups, and someone will be like, what have you built? Like, nothing yet. I don't know. Like, maybe grow your setup after you keep getting wins. And so otherwise you're going to be really intimidated. I have to use 7 harnesses and all these clouds and all these models, and none of that's the point, because arguably anybody who uses your output couldn't care less how you produced it. The point was the output and the outcome. And so just build the thing. And when you get comfortable with that thing, and you're like, I wonder if this other thing works too. Awesome. I don't know, win after win.
So baby steps.
Yeah.
Have an idea, start an AI studio if it's web-based, and iterate.
Get the dopamine hit, right? That's what motivates us, right? Like, I did something, that's awesome. I want to do it again. That's cool, that's great. So yeah, don't over-index on the tools. Still stay obsessed with, like, I can do anything I think of now, and be obsessed with that.
So focus on the outcomes. Well, thank you so much for giving us some time today. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.